Okay.
All right, it's setting it up.
Okay. It says it's now streaming live.
All right. Hi, this is Beth Barda with Insight Counseling Center, and one of my very favorite therapists, Lauren Whalen, is here with us today to talk about her experience with offering teletherapy. Lauren, could you start with just sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do with Insight Counseling?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Lauren Whalen. I've been at Insight for about 3 years now, almost 3 years. The first year and a half were spent in my internship, working pretty closely with Beth as she supervised me throughout that time, and the past year and a half working as a full-time therapist at Insight since I've graduated. So my specialties are trauma therapy. I specifically use EMDR for trauma treatment, as well as other therapies like psychodynamics, CBT, IFS are a few of my favorite ones that I use. Um, I also work with anxiety, and in that, I do a social anxiety course. I say course because there's a lot of material that I teach in that group, and it's also a process group as well. So for people to come together who experience social anxiety to work on how to manage that anxiety, and that's been a really powerful experience. I'm also doing a anxiety process group currently over the teletherapy platform. And so this anxiety group is just for anybody experiencing anxiety to come and process what that's like and kind of gain some tools throughout that. So that's a little bit about my work at Insight and some of the specialties I have. The main population I work with is young adults, although I work with a wide range of people as well, and work through depression, anxiety, relationship issues, and trauma, like I mentioned earlier, are kind of the top ones that I see. So that's a little bit about me.
Nice. Thanks for sharing a little bit about that. So I know that you've been offering teletherapy since like fall, winter of 2019. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
And that recently you've been 100% online with seeing clients. And so can you talk a little bit about what you've noticed about the process and what you see happening in the online therapy world?
Yeah, absolutely. I was fortunate enough to, like you mentioned, to start a little bit earlier on before we are kind of forced into the online therapy world. I had a few clients starting in December, that really preferred that online format, just kind of for convenience of after work hours, to be able to come in for a session and not have to sit in Denver traffic. Or find a parking spot or get home pretty late. And so it worked well for them. And now, like you mentioned, for the past 6 weeks, I've been doing full-time teletherapy. What I've noticed is that actually it becomes pretty normal. That clients are maybe hesitant in that first session to kind of feel it out and see what it's like. And it's pretty natural after that. You kind of know what to expect. You just click on that link and you're in a session right there with your therapist. So what's helpful is if you really can kind of hone in on the client or the therapist, whoever you're looking at, it feels like you're in their space, right? If you can kind of really focus in on that person, it kind of creates a little bit more mindfulness in that realm. And so it does feel pretty natural. And I've noticed that clients can drop in a little bit more to their work from time to time, just being in a comfortable space, or have their animals. Like I know we've talked about before, that kind of adds a different element of comfort as well.
Yeah, I've had my clients sitting with a cup of tea under their blankets and maybe a cat on their lap, and that it just really does help people feel more comfortable. And then I've had a couple of people tell me that they prefer online, and they seem to be um, more ready to drop into their emotions. Like you said, like we can drop in,
Yeah.
and I really noticed people doing some really deep, meaningful healing work. And I know that you do EMDR and you've been doing some of that online too. Can you talk about what you're doing to make sure that EMDR is able to be done online?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really beautiful that we've been able to transition those sessions onto an online format because for those of you that are familiar with EMDR, you typically use buzzers. So you kind of have to be in the room with the person or eye movements, which are able to be done online. But another tool that I've used with clients is butterfly taps or tapping the side of your knee. And so all of those modalities activate both hemispheres in your brain to help you process trauma better and in a safer way for your brain to experience that traumatic memory and gain some healing from it. So the client is tapping their own shoulders or their own side of their knees, and that really helps them to be able to do the work and still stay present in the moment, right? Part of trauma work is helping them to stay present in the moment and kind of go back to the event to create some healing. So it really has worked pretty well, and clients have done really good work around EMDR over teletherapy. So it's been kind of nice to force us into new ways of thinking about how to treat trauma for clients that maybe aren't able to come in, even we're not in the middle of a pandemic. So,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, so it seems like if for in a lot of ways, teletherapy can be very convenient.
Mhm.
The other thing that comes to mind is just offering that confidentiality. So, a couple things with that. One is people might be nervous walking into a therapist's office in their community. They don't want people in their neighborhood or people to see where they're going. And so, unfortunately, there is a stigma around mental health still, which is changing, but it's still there. And so, offering online therapy is a way to address that. You don't have to worry about someone seeing you. And then our teletherapy platform is completely confidential and HIPAA compliant, so people know that that is not going to be compromised. And then, Lauren, what would you say about helping people like find a place in the home, like if they have roommates or a partner or children? What are
Mhm.
you advising people to do around that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's been one thing that I've definitely had to navigate from client to client. Not everyone, especially living in Denver, has a huge place to be able to go to a different room or find some space there. So I've just advised clients to grab a pair of headphones like you and I are both wearing. That creates a level of confidentiality. So no one can hear what the other person is saying on the screen, and it allows you to kind of be in your own space there, blocks out a little noise from the house, whether it's creaking or walking around or kids in the background. I also have advised clients to get a sound machine if possible, or even on their phone. There's an app, there's one called Rain Rain that I like to use that creates some sound that they can just put right outside the door. And that helps roommates or family members to not be able to hear what the client is saying. Some options that other clients have used are going out in their car or out in a balcony. And so those can be some options as well. I found that most of my clients, all of mine so far, have been able to find some kind of space to create that confidential area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the women that I work with, she sits in her walk-in closet, and
Yeah.
it just feels like it's an enclosed, safe space. And she knows that she's in her bedroom, in her closet, and there's some layers there that help her feel comfortable, really sharing and being open in the sessions. So yeah, I think those are all really great ideas. Um, I guess the last thing I want to share is that what we're finding at Insight is that almost everyone we're working with has an insurance plan that covers telehealth for now. If and so most insurance plans are covering it for another 30 to 60 days, and there is work to get telehealth covered indefinitely on most plans. And there are even some insurance companies that are doing 100% coverage. So they're waiving copays or deductible payments, which is wonderful. Um, And Insight Counseling is actually offering a discount for anyone who's lost their job or had work hours reduced, or been furloughed if you're on unemployment or somehow you've lost your insurance coverage. We are able to offer pretty significant discounts, anywhere from $35 a session up to $90 a session. So we don't want costs to get in the way of people's taking care of themselves. And I wonder, Lauren, if there's anything else you want to add to kind of any last bits on taking the leap and giving teletherapy a try.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love just to add right now, we're seeing a pretty big increase in depression, anxiety, loneliness. It's completely understandable, even normal for this time in our lives. And I would really just encourage clients or potential clients to reach out to a therapist, to trust that your therapist has been on this platform for at least 6 weeks, if not more, at this point. And trust that they're going to set up those norms and decrease any anxiety you might have about starting therapy over the teletherapy platform. I've worked with a few clients now who are just jumping on to do teletherapy for the first time or to do therapy for the first time, and they're trying teletherapy. And so it's been a pretty natural transition of just getting them plugged in. And I would encourage you, if you have any kind of barriers to doing that or any anxieties around jumping on the teletherapy platform, just to reach out to us at Insight, give Beth a call, give me a call, whatever therapist you might fit with on our website, just give them a call and share your anxieties with that therapist. My guess is they're going to be able to decrease some of those anxieties and set up kind of a new normal for right now. To just jump on it, even if you just do one session to get comfortable with the platform, I think is really important as we're seeing that increase in mental health related distress.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that. Just to give it a try
Yeah.
and see what it's like before you say you don't want to do it. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me about this and get the word out that we're able to offer this service for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.